Yo, what's good, my fellow Magic Knights? It is your boy, DEADMANVINCE. On the right side of the screen this time, ready for this tier list, not blocking off anybody's face or anything. We're back on another tier list. We're talking about the defenders. Like I said, I was going in order by like which class has the most in it. We've already done attackers, debuffers, supporters at this point. Now we're doing defenders, and then we're doing healers next. And then you guys have my thoughts on like every character in the game at the moment. But if you guys have been liking these, man, like let me know. I'd be down to do like more tier lists. Like I wanted to do a tier list for like all the limited characters. This all started when I was like, I want to rank the limited characters, and tier list maker doesn't allow you to make a tier list unless you have at least 5 things to like put on the tier list. So limited characters will probably have to wait until after Noel drops, but I can still do like, you know, class specific tier list. And eventually it'll turn into like an overall game-wide kind of like tier list. But yeah, for now I'm just going class by class. So if you guys like these videos, then comment down below. Let me know, like seriously, let me know. I will try to do more stuff like this if you guys really do like this. I'll try to find more things I can do tier list on, or find more just kind of like informational videos where I can just kind of like talk and discuss units. If y'all want to have like, you know, talking time about units and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first person we have up on the list is Season 3 Asta. I thought when Season 3 Asta first came out, he was like very like poorly rated. I think he's a solid choice, and again, these are all my initial feelings about these characters. The more that we kind of like read into them, because like I gotta read back over some of these characters, kids. I don't use some of these characters like every single day. And also, guys, just so we know, we already know, or like we already know what the hell is going on. Don't play around with me. But this Asta is a solid choice, right? Honestly, this Asta purely loses rank because he has a direct replacement for a Red Guardian Asta, who is literally the best unit in the game, in my opinion. So like, he can't even be Wizard King level, bro, because it's just like at the point you're gonna use him, you might as well just use him instead, unless you absolutely specifically can't use Black Asta. But typically missions like those are like you can't use this named character in general, right? So let's see. Swimsuit Asta, skill 1. 60% chance to inflict, to attack after dispelling 1 buff from the enemy, and if you get it to level 5, 100% chance to dispel the buff. Then we got skill 2. Transfers 1 debuff from all allies to himself, and then removes all debuffs from himself. I always thought that was pretty cool. And then his skill page gives him the ability to add immortality to himself on his skill 2 if he does remove a debuff this turn. I always thought that was pretty cool, because if somebody on your team, at least one person on your team is debuffed, you can essentially give yourself guaranteed immortality for that turn, which I like. I like the fact that he can give himself immortality multiple times in battles versus having to have one specific situation happen and then he gets it and then afterwards it's just done, right? His skill, or his ultimate, 80% chance to inflict taunt on the designated enemy, 25% chance to inflict taunt on all enemies. If you get this skill to level 5, he has a 100% chance to taunt the designated enemy, and then he has a 34% chance to inflict taunt on the rest of the enemies. 34% chance is pretty low. I mean, at least you're getting a taunt on one person guaranteed, but still 34% chance is really low. 55% chance to inflict stun on his combo skill, and if you get it to level 5, he has a 75% chance to inflict stun, which honestly, Black Asta does guaranteed stuns on his combo skill. His ultimate guaranteed taunts somebody, and if you have anti-magic, takes away a barrier, which is very evil. Black Asta skill 2 is an AoE that gives everybody total defense and a defense boost. Like literally, I'm just reading all these skills comparative to one another, and like Black Asta is just leagues better, far and away better. This Asta's passive, when you get him to LR, at the start of the battle, grants all allies status change immunity for 1 turn, which is alright. I'm pretty sure Black Asta does that too, or he just does debuff immunity in general. For each active taunt on an enemy, For each active taunt an enemy is afflicted with, grants 3% increased reduced damage taken, and then if you have him 5-star, it's the same thing but 7% reduced damage taken. So like, yeah, this Asta is just like, nah. He not comparing to Black Asta. If Black Asta didn't exist in the game and this was our like main choice for like a Red Guardian, because let's be real, nobody's using this Veto. Nobody. If he was the only option we had for a Red Guardian, I'd probably put him right here. But like Black Asta's in the game now, and honestly, he's not up there. He's decent. If you don't have Black Asta, he's a decent choice to like use. I still think he's good. One thing I don't like though is every single skill in his kit is single target, and it's different for the season 1 Red Asta, whose every skill is single target, but he's a DPS and he does big damage. But, like, you don't do any damage. It's like you just have like, I won't say mediocre, but you just have like decent effects on your skills. So like solid. Do I wanna? Now that I've rationalized that out loud, I'd probably say not the best. Realistically, I'd probably say not the best. One, you wouldn't use this man in PvP because you have Black Asta, and if you don't have Black Asta, then at some point I feel like you're looking for one of these different Guardians instead. Like, I don't know. Mars was a king level. Mars was incredible when the game started. Mars is still incredible to this day. His skill 1 has a chance to taunt, which is a skill you can use every single turn. His skill 2 is an AoE. No, his skill 2 lowers defense on an enemy. His combo skill with Lotus is an AoE, which isn't really that impressive, but his combo skill with any other ally on the game is a chance to stun the entire enemy team. That's the one thing that I really like value Mars on. His ultimate, Fortify for 2 turns. 25% chance to extend status change duration by 1 turn on the enemy. Oh, and also Mars gets this, like, his skill page gives him, if you have a 5-star, I think it gives him 4% defense or 4% damage reduction for every time he gets hit in a turn, and it doesn't go away until his next turn. It's like you hit Mars once, the damage reduction already starts, and you keep hitting him, and he just gets tankier and tankier and tankier. And if you slow down Mars, that's the thing, you don't want to slow down Marses in PvP, especially when they have their skill page, because if you slow them down, they're just going to be sitting on that damage reduction for a little while there. Like Mars, I feel like has something in his kit for like every situation. I feel like pretty good, dude. Pretty good. His passive, if you get him to LR, grants all allies debuff immunity for 1 turn at the start of combat. That's really good. And then if you get him 2-star, 5% reduced damage taken when being attacked. If you get him 5-star, 10% reduced damage taken when being attacked. So he has a lot of different like damage reduction built into his kit. Mars still is a feasible option to this day. He still works. He still does a good job. Marileona. I didn't mean to put her in front of Mars like that, but I was considering. I was like, no, I'm putting her in 5th leaf activity. Marileona is like such a nuisance to deal with. Oh, and I'm sorry, I skipped over Black Asta because I kind of went over Black Asta while I was talking about this Asta. I was like, yo, this is Black Asta. We all know and love Black Asta. Black Asta, pretty much his entire kit works in a way where if he doesn't have anti-magic, he already does something. So skill 1, if he doesn't have anti-magic, does HP recovery block. Skill 2, if he doesn't have anti-magic, gives everybody total defense. If you have his skill page, gives everybody total defense. But even without his skill page, gives everybody a defense level 3 increase, which is 175% boost to defense, which is pretty good. His ultimate without anti-magic taunts an enemy for 2 turns, and then he stuns on his combo skill, and that's not anti-magic influenced at all. He just stuns on his combo skill. His passive at LR is if health is 40% or if health is equal to or lower than 40%, applies anti-magic to self. If health is 40% above, it removes anti-magic. Anti-magic is per 1500 defense, grants 15% increased damage dealt and immunity to status elements as well. But the thing is, if you have his skill page maxed out, he gives himself an additional 25% increased damage dealt per 1500 defense. So if you have Asta maxed out with his skill page, as you should, because he was a very important character, he was a very important release, and he was somebody you should have saved for as soon as they announced him, and he's coming back now, so you have a chance to 5-star him and get his skill page if you do not have that. But like if you have him 5-star, this man's getting 40% increased damage dealt per 1500 defense he has. And people like to build Asta damage for whatever damn reason. People are insane. Passive. When activating, or at 2-star, when activating anti-magic, taunts all enemies. Then when he's 5-star, when he activates anti-magic, he taunts all enemies for 1 turn and applies status element immunity to all allies for 1 turn. So Asta's funny because he can defend your team, he can swipe enemies, and he does an exceptionally great job at defending himself too. Asta's such a tanky character, dude. And like, I just told you all the effects of all his skills without anti-magic. Once you're in the anti-magic zone and your damage is being scaled off of your defense, keep in mind skill 1 still does the HP block on the enemy, but now he gives himself 8 SP for that when he attacks with that. Skill 2, Not only does it give you increased defense and total defense if you have the skill page, you gotta have that skill page for Black Asta, dude. That whole kit is crucial. When he's in anti-magic, he also takes a barrier off of one enemy of your choice. His ultimate still does a taunt, but also takes a barrier off of one enemy of your choice. Yeah. Literally, anti-magic is menacing, ridiculous. Like, if you already see my attacker video at this point, then you know I was talking about how Spirit Dive is crazy for Yuno. Same exact thing for Black Asta. Anti-magic is ridiculous for Black Asta. Okay. Did not mean to skip the GOAT like that. He was just already in the list, and I had already kind of talked about him with the other Asta, and I was kind of like, okay, well, we already talked this one out. We already hashed this one out, guys. But yeah, Mereoleona is actually a demon. Yeah, so when Mereoleona comes into the fight, if she gets hit by an enemy, the entire enemy team gets burned. That makes her a pillar in burn compositions automatically. You have somebody like Magna who as soon as he comes in, he burns everybody. If you have him like 2-star, 5-star, something like that. But like at the same time, Magna's not Mereoleona. Magna doesn't have like the stat build up like Mereoleona. He's not a limited character. He doesn't have the defensive capabilities. Magna can get swiped out pretty quickly. Mereoleona will last you a little while. Okay. Mereoleona's skill 1. If enemy is taking continuous damage, inflicts taunt on them for 2 turns. Nice. Mereoleona's skill 2. It does barrier removal on a designated enemy. I didn't know that. I didn't know it did barrier removal. See, dude, I get some of these characters and I know like parts of their skills, because it works for me, and I don't need to know the full skill. It just worked for me. And then I look deeper into the skills, and I'm just like, yo, like that's even crazier. I didn't know she removed burial. I didn't know she did burial removal on a designated enemy. But also, if you have her skill page, she gives everybody mana skin for 2 turns. And I want to tell you right now, mana skin grants 30% reduced damage taken and it's status element immunity. So Mereoleona is insane for that, bro. That's a 3-turn cooldown. Every 3 turns, unless you have somebody who can lower the cooldown of like skill 2s, right? Every 3 turns, Mereoleona is just giving everybody mana skin, and mana skin lasts for 2 turns. So you go without mana skin for 1 turn, unless you give Mereoleona that talent boost that like you have a chance for your cooldown on skill 2 to go down by 1 point. Every turn or something like that. You have like a small percent chance, right? If you get that to pop off, you can pop a mana skin before you even lose your mana skin. It's insane. And you don't even necessarily have to pop it before mana skin runs out. If you have somebody on your team who's boosting speed a lot and Mereoleona just keeps going after going, then like even if you lose mana skin, if you're so fast the enemy team can't attack you before Mereoleona's next turn, then boom, she's popping that mana skin again anyway. Mereoleona's ultimate is grants an extra turn upon killing the enemy, and then for every instance of burn an enemy is taking, attacks after granting 65% increased damage buff. So I find that characters who increase their damage dealt on their ultimate based on instances of something typically perform very, very well. This reminds me of Green Yami, to be honest with you. Oh, and also she removes burial on her. She removes barrier on her ultimate as well. Mereoleona is like a. It's weird. Mereoleona is what it feels like they were trying to do with Red Veto. Red Veto was a character that they wanted to be like a all-out attack but also defensive kind of like guy, and they went a very weird way about doing it. And honestly, since we're already talking about him, I'm just gonna go ahead and put him here. Just a very like odd way of doing it. And Mereoleona feels like they have maybe figured out what they were intending to do with Veto and finally did it. Maybe Veto was a sacrifice, basically. Veto was, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He was a... Yeah, he was just a sacrifice, man. He was a prototype to what they were trying to do. But Mereoleona, they hit the nail on the head. They needed to practice for Mereoleona. I'm glad they didn't mess up Mereoleona. Mereoleona's skill 2 inflicts burn. If you have Mereoleona LR, if she has ASP, she has mana skin, guaranteed. Then... And also, guys, if you saw my debuffer video, these are the kind of skills that explain why Blue Noel, Season 5 Noel ended up so high up in the tier list rankings, because like you have a lot of characters now that get extra stuff based off of them having 8 SP. So like if you have somebody who can take away that SP automatically, characters just start to look a little faulty. If you have Mereoleona 2-star, at the start of a wave inflicts taunt on the enemy with the highest attack for 1 turn, highest all attack for 1 turn. Then if you have her 5-star, At the start of the wave, inflicts taunt on an enemy with the highest all attack for 1 turn, and upon taking damage, inflicts continuous burn damage on all enemies for 2 turns. So that 5-star is what you need to get that burn on Marileona whenever, or get the burn on the enemy team whenever Marileona is touched, right? That's a very good skill to have. But yeah, Marileona's on 5th leave activity. She's such a bother to deal with in PvP, and she does so great in PvP at the same time. Next up, we have Raddies. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I feel like Raddies fell off. Raddies fell off. Raddies used to be like up here, I feel like, for people, and like, nah, he's right here now. One, because his barrier is cool, but there are so many characters who can do, bro, the two DPS or TPSs, the 2 defenders at the top of this list who actually have like DPS capability, both have barrier removal effects. Like, it's hard to like rank somebody really high up for their barrier when they have a lot of options that can just take away barriers now, right? So it's just like, and there are some characters who just hit hard enough to, they don't care if you have a barrier. They're still ripping through it, bro. So Raddies has definitely fallen down to like solid choice tier. I won't put him as far back as this Asta here, because Raddies still does have great use. He has a 45% chance, well, if you get it to, we get it level 5. I'm gonna just start telling y'all the percentages at level 5, because you want to get your character skills level 5. If you get Raddies' skill to level 5, his skill 1, he has a 60% chance to inflict poison on an enemy for 2 turns, which is okay, but it's only 1 enemy. Skill 2 grants all allies defense level 2, so that's 140%, which is not bad. But literally, Black Asta can boost defense by 175 on his how did that look? My big ass muscles there. No, I'm kidding. Black Asta can literally give 175% defense on his skill 2, and Raddies also grants all allies damage resistance level 5 if you have him have his skill page. His ultimate gives a shield that is equal to, let's see, grants all allies 140% of magical attack as a barrier for 2 turns. You get it level 5, so that's 240. He grants allies with 240% of magical attack of their magical attack as a barrier for 2 turns. The problem with that is, every person on your team is not somebody you're going to be trying to build magical attack on. Automatically, that makes that bad for some characters. Like, if you have, say you have, like, Zora. I've been using Zora lately. And ooh, I bit my tongue and almost said some evil words. Zora, I've been using lately, and Zora isn't somebody you want to build magical attack on because he's not a damage dealer. He's just doing reflex and everything. So you want to work on his defense, his HP, and his speed more so to make sure that he's surviving and he's getting as many turns as possible before somebody targets him and kills him. Because he's not a guardian, so he's not going to have crazy ass defense like all these characters right here. He's a debuffer. So, like, an example of somebody you don't want to build magical attack on, you know? Like, Black Asta essentially wouldn't get a shield from this. Because Black Asta has no magical attack. He has no magical attack at all. It's of their magical attack, not of Raddies' magical attack. So, that kills him right there, honestly. Because I was building magical attack on this man Raddies, and I realized which kind of sucks now that I think about it. Because you got to build magical attack on Raddies to make sure he gives himself a really good shield. But Raddies isn't somebody doing a lot of damage. You want to give him defense and like HP. Oh. Found a little loophole in the kit there, but I'll still leave him in solid choice. I don't think he should be bumped down for anything more. Not only does he give you 240% magical attack as a barrier, he also gives 50% chance to grant an ally increased endurance for level 2, or 50% chance to grant an ally increased endurance level 3 for 2 turns, and that's 25% endurance. And endurance isn't damage reduction, fortify is. Endurance is more so like, you know how in Grand Cross they had it like attack and defense and then pierce and resistance. Endurance and penetration are kind of like pierce and resistance, kind of like how that works. And then debuff immunity for all allies, or status change immunity for all allies for 2 turns, which is just debuff immunity, it seems. His combo skill has a 100% chance to taunt an enemy for 2 turns. If you have it level 5, if you get him to LR, his speed goes up by 7 when he goes into battle. And then 2-star, upon taking damage, there's a 30% chance to inflict taunt on the attacker for 1 turn. And then upon taking damage, there's a 50% chance to inflict taunt on the attacker for 1 turn. He's okay. Yeah, solid choice. That's all I can give him. Solid choice. V2 Veto, Third Eye Veto. He's at least a solid choice. But I like him more than Raddies, I feel like. I'll put him here for now. And we're gonna read through his kit because I haven't used him in a little while. I've used him before. Oh, let's talk about regular Veto. That's the problem with already throwing characters in the list. Regular Veto is dog shit. He's ass. I don't know why Vic Gaming did this. He has a disarm on his skill 1, which is just a single target, so he's only disarming 1 enemy at a time. His skill 2 is an AoE. If your HP is 60% or lower, Attacks after granting 50% lifesteal for each ally, or each fallen ally. Attacks after granting 20% increased damage dealt. Now, Marileona, Asta, Mars, Radis, even this Asta here, and even him, yeah, because he has taunt and then enhanced taunt. All this, right? All of these characters have the capability. Even Von's here, who's not even on the list yet. All of these characters have the capability to protect your team in some fashion or capacity. Why, Vic Gaming? Why did you make a Guardian that wants his allies to die for more damage? See, how I just said, honestly, no. Veto wasn't a sacrifice for Marileona. He was a sacrifice for Marileona and Black Asta. Because Marileona is the example of somebody who they wanted to be a defensive powerhouse, but also wanted to have high attack capabilities. From this mistake, this great thing was created. Why do I say he's a prototype for Black Asta? Because they wanted to find somebody who could be really tanky in most situations, but in specific situations when the time called for it, they had a lot of attack and were able to dish out the damage and maybe even solo a team at the point they were alone. Black Asta can do that. Great defensive option. Incredible defensive option. And when he's below 40% HP, he still has all his defense, but also has crazy attack stats now. That it was just a sacrifice. Vic Gaming, why? But I'll put him in not the best, because I just rationalized Vic Gaming why. Vic Gaming, you did this to, no, I can't. I'm trolling. No, he's Vic Gaming why. But like, no, I know the reason why now. It was to prototype these two before they came out. That's how it feels. Look. You see Asta's white hair and then Marileona's like orange fire red hair. Veto's hair is kind of like in between those shit. What am I doing? I'm pulling strings now. It doesn't matter. But yeah, Veto's ass. Never should a Guardian rely on the team dying to be better, to do more damage. No, stupid. Right? Ultimate skill, single target. Attacks after granting 70% lifesteal. 35% lifesteal, or grants 35% lifesteal when attacking an enemy inflicted with disarm. So the thing about that is Veto's damage is not going to be high, or not high like an attacker's damage, right? He's a Guardian first and foremost, end of the day. So giving him so much life still here and there is like cool, but like no, it just doesn't work. Veto, another one of those characters where I'm reading this right now and I'm trying to click all the pieces together and it's not working for me. Right here you have disarm, that's cool, that's kind of a weak effect. It's disarm level 1 at that. Right here you have life still if your health is below a certain point, but he's a tank. Don't you want his health to be like higher so that he's going to guarantee survive when he takes the next round of hits? I don't understand, Vic Gaming. Oh wait, let's let his allies die, give him more attack. Not understanding. Oh, and I'm sorry, if you have his skill page, he has a 60% chance to inflict extended debuff for 1 turn. Who cares? Just something extra to the kid that doesn't really matter. The life steal on a character who's not going to be hitting hard is questionable. Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do with this man. Veto. Unique passive. Getting him to LR means you grants 15% fortify for 1 turn upon using lifesteal. So every time he lifesteals, he gets 15% damage reduction. 15% is kind of low, I'd say. 15% is kind of low. Then get him 2-star. 7% reduced damage taken from a boss. Get him 5-star. 14% reduced damage taken from a boss. Now, you remember when the game started and all of those like farming dungeons were really hard even before you got to the boss stage, and then like rooms 2 or 1 could wipe out your entire team? Yeah. How does Veto look in that meta? Getting only 14% damage reduction against the boss when the bosses hit hard. Think about this from a free player perspective who doesn't have all their characters like absolutely maxed out and they're trying to get gear right now. Veto's useless. He only gets damage reduction against the boss, so he's gonna die before he even gets to the boss, and he's not even gonna be able to be used for the intended effect. It just doesn't make much sense. I'm done talking about Veto. I can't stand him. There are certain characters that I can't stand in the game. Veto, V1 Nozel, and who else? Veto, V1 Nozel. There's a debuffer. No, there's an attacker who's coming to mind. Oh, who is it? Leopold? No, Leopold. It's not even I can't stand him. It's just like I just haven't tried him. I'm just probably not going to. But like, yeah, no, Veto's horrible. Nozel, original Nozel, horrible. Like, no. Okay. Veto Despair. Skill 1. Attacks after granting up to 40% increased damage dealt as a buff in proportion to lost HP. Skill 2. Grants a body enhancement buff to self for 2 turns. Body enhancement is 100% defense and 30% endurance. That's really good. That's really good, actually. It's only on himself, but like that's pretty solid. Like, it's not a buff either. That's the thing. It is a buff. It shows up as a buff, but I don't know if it's a buff that people can take away. I don't know. Grants 15% of max HP as HP recovery, so he can heal himself, keeping himself alive. Now, where he's really interesting is his ultimate. His ultimate is an AoE. 40%, and hold on. Level 5, 70% chance to inflict enhanced taunt on an enemy for 2 turns. Now, what is enhanced taunt? Enhanced taunt attacks the target who casts taunt and causes him to restore 10%. So whenever you hit Veto and he has you enhanced taunted, he gains 10% of his maximum HP whenever you hit him. That's a cool taunt effect. It's like, I'm taunting you, but I'm also healing because you're hitting me. His passive when he's LR is when HP falls below 30% for the first time, gains immortality. A lot of characters have that immortality effect. I'm not that big a fan of it. Then 2-star. Upon taking damage, grants 3% reduced damage taken for each active debuff present. Then LR5, which isn't that bad because a lot of characters debuff now. Maybe, honestly, I say maybe his value has gone up. Maybe Veto was here before and now he's like right here because so many debuffers are in the like game now. Not even so many debuffs, so many different people who have debuff, like, you know, burn, poison. Like, DOT is a debuff as well, right? So now this seems a little more viable. Upon taking damage, grant 7% reduced damage for each active debuff present. So, yeah, I mean, Veto just sounds like an all-around solid unit. You know, just nothing too crazy, nothing too bad though. But I every now and then I have to use him, you know, and I like to use him. So he works out for me. When I was doing the Riot stage in the Hall of Illusion and Tower of Illusion, Tower Challenge, whatever it was called, before it got taken out of the game, I used this Veto, Charmy, Lotus and Yami, and I think that's how I won the stage against Riot, which everybody was like struggling with that Riot stage. But yeah, V2 Veto, nothing to write home about, but also nothing to shit on. Let's see, Party Vengeance. Now, Party Vengeance, I'm gonna put it Wizard King level. Party Vengeance, his skill 1 works kind of like how Asta's anti-magic kind of works. Per 1,000 defense, attacks after granting 8% increases damage dealt. I don't know how much my Vengeance's defense is right now. Honestly, yeah, no, I'm not gonna check it because he doesn't even have his own dedicated gear set. His gear set came from Raddy's, so honestly, needs to be reworked in general because Raddy's I kind of didn't even care that much. If counterattack is present on an ally, grants them an 80% increased defense buff for 1 turn. So he works really well on the team with Luck and Charlotte because Charlotte gives everybody counterattack. Luck can extend counterattacks to make sure that everybody has counterattack. Then his skill 1 is going to give everybody who has counterattack 80% increased defense automatically, just off of skill 1 is insane. His skill 2, if counterattack is present on self, inflicts taunt on a target for 2 turns. Then, if you have his skill page, inflicts barrier block on an enemy for 2 turns. So like not being able to make a barrier is pretty solid. His ultimate grants all allies fortify level 3. That's just like the last Vengeance. Grants all allies debuff immunity. Grants a 5% reduced damage taken buff to all allies for 2 turns of each instance of counterattack present on them. So if counterattack is present on an ally, grants them extend counterattack duration by 1 turn. So he can extend counterattacks. He gives you extra damage reduction based on counter, because the other Vengeance, he gives you fortify level 3, but then he has something in his passive that's like you get an extra 5% damage reduction whenever you do your ultimate. Right? This is more so you get 34% damage reduction off rip, and then it's just like however many counterattacks are on your allies, you get that extra 5% right there. So it's more of a specific thing because the counterattack has to be on the ally, but like he's meant to be running on a team where you want all counters. Literally the team that you're gonna want to run him on is gonna be him, Charlotte, Luck, and then more than likely the 4th for you is gonna be like season 10 Noelle, the healer, because she gives an attacker mage extra maximum HP, like 20% extra max HP or something like that if your entire team is blue, and that works really well for Luck, who's in a DPS and is not going to have that much HP starting out. His combo skill has at level 5 has a 60% chance to inflict stun on an enemy for 1 turn, but it hits everybody. Now, his passive when you get him to LR, if all allies have the technique attribute, when the battle starts, grants protection to the ally with the highest all attack for 2 turns. Luck would be the ally with the highest all attack. This is why Luck placed very low on the tier list for the attackers, because the more that we go through all these characters, the more you're gonna see there are a lot of characters like built for Luck. This Vengeance is built for Luck. That Noelle is built for Luck. The fact that Luck needs that many characters built for him means that he's not the greatest attacker. But when you have all those pieces, he's gonna be good, but like having all those pieces to make you good isn't the same thing as just being good on your own. You know what I'm saying? Black Asta doesn't need all the pieces to make him good. Black Asta doesn't need the Witch Queen. The Witch Queen helps because you can put him into anti-magic turn 1 and then do his damage, lifesteal it back, and then he's back chilling. He just got a big free turn of damage. But if you didn't have the Witch Queen, you could just have a really solid tank, and then eventually he gets his health down to that point, and then all of a sudden at the end of the battle, when you need it the most, he's doing damage all around, right? You see how it works? But this Vengeance right here, if he's 2-star, if all allies are blue, when the battle starts, inflicts continuous shock damage on all enemies for 2 turns. And then, if all allies are blue, this is 5-star. If all allies are blue, inflicts shock damage for 2 turns on all enemies, and then upon taking damage, grants a 30% increased damage dealt to an attacker ally for 1 turn. So, yes, again, works very well with Luck. And also, I want to say, Luck's passive is, one of Luck's passives is, if the enemy that he attacks has shock, when he does his ultimate, he gives himself plus 8 SP. Yeah. So you can just spam if you have the right setup and your team's actually properly built out, you can use Noelle, Vengeance, Luck, and Charlotte, have infinite like counterattacks basically, have a really tanky Luck, because Luck gives himself 70% damage or 70% damage reduction or defense or something like that when he's defending. Noelle's gonna give him extra max HP. Vengeance is gonna be giving Fortify on his ultimate, or he's gonna be giving 80% defense on his skill 1. Like Vengeance, but all this isn't all centered around Luck. The shock part is definitely centered around Luck, but like Vengeance still works really well on like different teams. I've used him in different teams in general. I have not just used him with Luck. Vengeance always performs. He's always good. This is the stacking up, how we looking right now. I will say that I do like to use Veto more than Raddies. I will say that I like to use Vengeance more than Mars, even though Mars is still phenomenal. And yeah, this holds up right here. This is the Guardian. This is definitive. There ain't no other way out. This is it right here, bro. Like this is it for my take on Defenders. Like, if y'all enjoyed the video, then y'all go down below, y'all smack the like button, y'all smack the subscribe button, Mario on the Buck Blitz the comment section, and Black Asta anti-magic your ass to my page so you can look at more videos. But that's gonna be it for your boy DEADMANVINCE. And I'm sorry these videos are so long, but I really want to give my full thoughts on all these characters. But yeah, like I said, if you enjoyed, then show that you enjoyed. But that's gonna be it for your boy DEADMAN. Y'all make sure to surpass your limits. Peace.